I am back for another video for our channel. I'm currently on a layover right now in Minneapolis. As I mentioned, like in our last video on our smoothie challenge, if you haven't watched it, you should probably watch it because it's really cool. I am a flight attendant now, so currently I'm on a layover in Minneapolis. It's really cold, but I'm here to film a video on 1 month being on the line as being a flight attendant. I feel like when I was getting into wanting to do this job, I enjoyed watching these kind of videos because it kind of gives you insight on how the job is. But yeah, so I'm here to basically let you guys know how it is for the first month, how training was, and any kind of thing, anything else I can really think of. Okay, so sorry I had to move areas in my room because the lighting wasn't as good, and hopefully the lighting here is a little bit better. But yeah, so getting into it, usually the main question when people find out I'm a flight attendant is why and how did I get this job. The main reason why is that the reason why I wanted to be a flight attendant was because my last job, I was there for 5 years, almost 5 years to be honest. It was retail, and I loved the job. I enjoyed it, but after a while I started to realize that I kind of hated it and I was getting really negative about it. So it wasn't for my best interest in my life to stay there and just deal with how much I hated it. I realized that I needed change, so I decided to make a drastic change, because doing this kind of a job is completely out of my comfort zone. It's completely, like, it's so like out of the ordinary for me to take this, for me to go after this job. So for me to actually be sitting here and filming this video and actually saying that I have this job is actually pretty cool and pretty surreal. But yeah, so I left my job of being there for almost 5 years. I applied for several airlines. I will say, if you do apply for the job and you are applying for several airlines, the process can be kind of slow for some airlines. Some airlines, it can go pretty fast. It just really depends on if you're at the right time, at the right place, and put the application at the right time. So I applied for multiple airlines. My current airline got back to me and invited me to a face-to-face interview. I almost didn't make it to the interview because I actually flew with my current airline and the flight was delayed to arrive to the city 2 hours past the beginning of the interview. And once you're late, you're late. Like, they will not, does not matter if you fly with them or not, no exceptions, because at these interviews, like around my interview, around 500 people showed up. So a lot of people want this job, so they aren't gonna really show pity. But booked my flight, paid $500 for this flight, so $500 cost me this job, which at the end of the day, it was really worth it. But flew to interview. It was a long process. It was like a 12-hour process. It was all in one day. But it was very interesting. Like, you walk into the interview and they explain how the company is, and then you do these several kind of like there's like several phases of the interview, and then they start sending people home after they don't make the cut or whatever. But yeah, so 500 people were at my interview day, and in my class we had a total of 34, and in the class that they were hiring for another base had a total of 60, so 6, 7, 8, 9. So out of 500 people, they hired 90 people. So don't be discouraged if you go to an interview and you don't get it that first time, because I will say I was just really lucky, and God was on my side and made sure I got this job, because out of 500 people, I'm part of that 90 select people that got chosen to get hired that day. It's amazing. It was a very fast process. So my interview date was October 3rd, and then my training date was October 31st. So one thing you have to realize before you're getting into this job or starting this job or starting training is that you should probably have a good chunk of money in your savings, because it's gonna be a good while before you get a decent paycheck. Especially during training, you're not, for my airline, you don't get paid during training. You get a check at the end of training for successfully passing it, but like during training you don't get paid, so you depend on whatever you have in your savings. Myself, I took the opportunity to get this job very sudden, so I didn't really set myself up for success as in saving, which I'm not known as a person to save, which I need to work on. But I probably didn't have that much money in my savings, to be honest, but it had me enough. I had enough that held me over to start training, pay a couple bills, and then luckily I had put in my 3 weeks in on my last job, so luckily I had a paycheck right before leaving, and then I had a paycheck in the middle of training, so I was fine. I could get by. With my airline, the only thing that was covered was breakfast, because our hotels that we were put in had breakfast, so that was covered. But basically lunch and dinner, you had to find your own way to get it. So if you had money, you had to buy your own. So what I would do is I would get groceries at the grocery store every 2 weeks. I will say during training you're not gonna eat healthy. You're not gonna eat healthy whatsoever. You're gonna eat your top ramen. You're gonna eat your peanut butter jelly sandwiches. You're gonna eat the worst of the worst, but whatever to get you by is what you need, because you need food to sustain that healthy brain action, because training is tough. A lot of proving yourself in this industry, starting from doing the application, getting to the interview, proving yourself there, and then you still have to prove yourself in the training, because you can easily get released no matter what. In my class, we lost 2 people during training because they failed exams. But yeah, so went through training. I graduated November 23rd. I did my OE a couple days after that. OE is operational experience. So basically you are put on a flight and you work the flight to show, that's basically like all of your training in one, showing instructors that are grading you that you've paid attention in training and you know what to do. But yeah, so then I got on the line in December, and now it's January. I don't know my days, so keep in mind with this industry as well, you forget days. You look at them as numbers. You don't look at them as like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday anymore. I've realized that, so I never really know if I'm on a weekend. I think today is Saturday, but I never, like in my regular 9-to-5 job, I used to look forward to the weekends. Here I'm like, it's a weekend. I didn't realize that. Like, I just look at it by days now, by numbers. But I don't even know what day it is, to be honest. It's the 27th, so that makes it 2 months from my graduation. But technically a month on the line for actually working. But so far, being a month on the line, so any airline you start with, you're always gonna start on reserve. So currently I am a reserve flight attendant. So reserve means you're on call. So how majority of airlines work, that you pick a reserve, for my airline specifically, because I know mine. You pick a reserve period, so a time that you choose to be called. So currently right now I'm on a 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. calling period. So when you're on reserve, you are on call. So you basically hope to Jesus that crew scheduling calls you for a trip. You can get called for a trip. It can be a turn. A turn means that you're going somewhere and then you're coming back the same day. It could be a 1 day, a 2 day, a 3 day, or 4 day trip. Basically we are there we're there for backup in case someone calls out, someone that has a line. So a line is like someone has a legitimate schedule each month and has like a list of flights they do for that month, which that comes with seniority. So in this industry, seniority is key. So the longer you've been here, the better it is for you. But I feel like I'm rambling, I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, it really depends on you if you want to work a lot or not, which I do like about this industry, that it's very, very, very flexible, even more flexible when you actually have a line. It's definitely worth it. I enjoy the job. I like the job. For the past 2 months I've been here, I enjoy it. I've met some nice people. I will say in this industry, if you like, I mean, it sucks when you like someone, but if you don't like someone and you don't want to ever fly with them again, you probably won't fly with them for another year, because depending on how big your airline is, the chances of you to fly with them again is very low. That's the good thing, so you're always changing, you're always meeting new people, but it's also a downside because there's really no connection with people unless you really make an effort. So I've met multiple people that are based at different bases that I've flown with, and I've gotten really cool with them for that trip, but I'm like, I'm never gonna see you again, so it kind of sucks. Once you're on the line, you're on probation for 6 long months. So basically you can get let go for any little thing during probation. So you watch your back during probation. So if you end up meeting not so nice senior mamas and papas, which are people that have been with the company 20 plus years, that aren't that nice, you really got to keep your mouth shut and just deal with it and kind of just take it, because you don't want anyone to write you up, because you don't want to get fired or something like that. Trust me, it's not worth it. So it's like you just suck it up for the next 6 months, and then when you're off probation, it's like a weight lifted. From what I hear, I'm only 2 months in, so I'm like, I'm waiting for that day to come. But so far, it's a really cool job. Like a person like me that's not known to travel and stuck in this little niche of staying on the West Coast, being able to travel to these random places in the country, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. Like, I've never been to Minneapolis until I got this job. I've flown to Cleveland and laid over there, never been to Cleveland before. Like, New Orleans, never been there before. Portland, never been there before. Like, it's cool. It's a cool job for someone that's young and is wanting to explore the world, basically. It's a cool job to have, to be honest, and it's only the beginning for me. I do see this as a career for me. It is a job that you can make it a career. So if you are really interested, you should really you should look into doing the job. I enjoy it. I've actually had Olga, she is going to interview for my airline in a couple weeks, which is exciting. So it's like, trust me, once you see someone that's doing this job, it gets you interested, and it's really cool. It's a good job to do starting really young, but at the same time, I've had a lady that's 70 years old that graduated my class. So you can do this job at any age. There's no age limit. There is no weight limit. There is nothing. There's no discrimination in this job. If you can do it, you can persevere. You can basically do basic emergency procedures and just evacuate an aircraft within 90 seconds. You're fine completely. You can do this at any age, as long as you're mobile, you're fine. Like, it's the cool thing about this job is that you can pick it up anytime you want. And the funny thing is that I was flying with this lady. She has been in the airline industry for 20 years, and she's like, I took a 3-year break, but she's like, I love being a flight attendant. She's like, I had to go back into it. It's funny that once you start being a flight attendant, it's always in your blood, and it's tough to say goodbye to these benefits. It's hard to say goodbye to the experiences that you get. But yeah, being a month on the line has been pretty good. It's been pretty nice. I'm still learning a lot, learning tips and tricks from other people. So it's a learning process, because training can teach you a lot, mostly just emergency procedures, but actually doing the physical routine, it's a lot of learning on the job, which is fine with me. Hopefully this video is informative to people that are interested in researching this job in this industry. Leave us any comments down below if you have any questions about this industry. I'm more than happy to answer them. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I did ramble a lot. There's a lot of information to talk about, but and looking at this right now, it's at half an hour, so this video is gonna have to get cut down. But yes, I did ramble a lot, but hopefully I was very informative. Please take a second to subscribe to our channel right over here for more videos. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of these flight attendant videos, leave a comment down below as well to let me know. Because I'm more than happy to be the person that's giving you this information if you're interested in this job, because it's really worth it, and it's really something that helped me out when I started researching this job, searching up these YouTubers. It's very informative. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize for the crappy lighting, but I am in my hotel room right now. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you on for the next video. Bye.